Hello everyone and welcome to Red Rock Chess. I hope you guys are having a great day so far. Today we are going to be learning together how you guys can be thinking about your next three moves. I know what you're thinking. You usually play your game of chess and you're thinking one move ahead, barely scraping by, and you're losing the majority of your games. This video right here is tailored for you because the reason why is that thinking three moves ahead actually might be easier than one move ahead. And throughout this video, I hope you guys learn a couple of tidbits that you guys can implement in your chess, and that way we can both play better chess and learn better as well. So let's get right into it and analyze this game and learn together. So, the game is played between Ian Nepomniachtchi and Magnus Carlsen. Magnus Carlsen is playing with the white pieces, and Ian is playing with the black pieces. And this game is an absolute phenomenal game, so let's just dive right into it. And the system that is played right here is what's called the Queen's Pawn opening. And depending on what black does, usually black just mirrors that with black moving the pawn to d5. In this case, he just moves the knight to f6. That's a very, very, very common move. And white usually counters with the London system. There is just like Levy Rosman, Gotham Chess, he likes to counter with what's called the Trompowsky attack. That is his opening. And in this case, it's just the Indian game. So this right here, the players start to develop. They bring their knights out right here, which is very, very good practice right here. And then they also have, Ian has his knight out. And what's going for him, he's thinking about taking this right here. And for black, the opportunities right here are for this pawn to be moved. There is also just like the opportunity for like black to match right here, and that's exactly what Ian does. He just brings his pawn out to spaces right here so that his pawn can start attacking in the middle. This is very common among high-level players, especially if it's taken right here. It allows the bishop to come and take the pawn right here. And captures is what both players decided to do, and the queen takes and the pawn's break. So this is a very, very, very simple start to the game. You guys will start to notice that you guys have a rhythm, especially when you're playing against other players. If you guys have a certain type of opening that you guys like to use, like if you're playing for black, like the Sicilian defense, the Caro-Kann, the French defense. If you're playing with white, the King's opening, the Queen's opening, the London system. Try to stay within 1 to 2, preferably one opening with the certain pieces. That way you can learn a lot to the theory, especially because there's endless amounts of openings and tactics with each. So if you get to nail one and master it, it does help you think three moves ahead. So that's my personal suggestion, that as you guys play chess, try to nail down 1 to 2 openings. That way when you guys are playing, you guys can use these tactics, that it's not nothing that you can't remember when you guys are playing. And so what Magnus does right here is he brings out his bishop. So what I want you guys to be thinking are, what are the next couple moves for Magnus in this position? What do you think he is going to be playing right now, especially with this right here? I want you guys to be thinking what move needs to be made. And there is no per se wrong answers, so make sure to drop down in the comment section what moves you think he will be making. And this right now, he makes the move e3. And the reason for that is he wants to be able to develop his bishop out. He wants to be bringing his bishop out to one of these two squares so that he could be looking at castling, bringing his king to safety within the first 10 moves of the game, which is generally best practice. Ian just castles early, and this allows him to be able to move his bishop out right here. It allows him to bring his knight out right here to attack the queen. And have his king in a safe place. Magnus decides to move his bishop to f2 so that he can castle, but first his bishop is under attack right here, so he just takes that, captures it, and before he castles, he also has to make sure that he's not blundering his queen. This is the best chess player in the world that we're talking about. Obviously, he's thinking that move is not, the castling is not the best move, so he moves his queen back to this right here. So the next couple moves for Magnus are going to be to castle, to bring his knights to the middle right here, and then start plowing his way towards getting a pawn promoted. And that's exactly what happens. So he brings his rooks right here. You can see that his rooks are connected. And when you're playing chess, that is definitely something that you want to be having during the middle game, end game, is you want your rooks to connect, and then that way you can start pushing your pawns towards the end of the H file and the A file, the eighth rank and the first rank, depending on which pieces you are, to promote your pawns. And that's exactly what Eon does as well. So he lines up his rook and his queen to defend Magnus's attack, and what happens is that he wants to be trading his bishop. Generally, the bishop pair is a lot stronger than two knights in the endgame, so he makes sure to capture this one right here. And this one's just an absolute phenomenal move. The reason for that is that if he were to take this at that point, don't know what happened right there. So if he were just to take that right there, let me get back to that spot real quick. So if he were to take this right here, the reason why that would be bad is because this would just allow him to capture this queen right here and just be up material. And this allows Magnus to trade off the other bishop right there, bring the rook into the central open file, and start applying pressure. And what this means for both players is that they're thinking a couple moves ahead. And right now, Magnus plays the move b4. And the reason for this is he's just trying to get his pawns started to get as close to the 8th rank as possible. And that will allow him to create a strong endgame. If you guys ever want to study the endgames, make sure you study Magnus. He is one of the absolute best at being able to promote his pawn, deliver checkmate, and just put some really hard endgame tactics to the opponent throughout all stages of the game. And the move right here is just so that basically if he ever needs to, he could trade queens, but then also just looking at just pushing his pawn up. If he ever wants to, he could trade, but the whole point is just to basically just push his pawns, bring out his bishop, just to squares that could create some weaknesses for Eon. And the point of him bringing this out right here is it just eyes his rook in the end. The reason why he moved it back is for the exact same reason, to attack that, and so he just moves the bishop back. They just start shuffling their pieces right here, and he captures. So the reason why he takes right here is for exactly that reason. If he were to take this right here, it's just a simple check on the king, and then you just pick up the other rook right there. And then it's 2 rooks versus 1 queen. So Magnus feels very confident of his capabilities of playing out that endgame. And you may be thinking right now, isn't that just a free rook? Did Magnus just blunder it? No, not per se, because in this position, there is just taking the rook right here. It's a check, and so if the queen decides to take it, then you just take it back with the rook. And that is exactly how it pans out. It just takes right there, and then you just give another check. And Magnus is happily up just 1 pawn right now. And this is what you guys need to be thinking right now. How can I be putting myself in a better position than I already am? So for Magnus, right now, he's up 1 pawn. But that is against one of the other second best players in the world, Ion Nepomniachtchi. So what he is thinking right now is, what can I be doing to attack his pawns? And that's exactly what happens. So he pushes his pawns up, and what he's thinking about doing is just bringing his king into the game, making his king a little more active, putting some pressure on the pawns, capturing the other opponent's pawns, and that's exactly what happens. So he just shuffles his rook over. This pawn will be captured up no matter what happens, and so he just picks it back up, brings the king back out, and he just brings his rook out to a lot safer of a square. And for Eon, there's not much he could do except for trying to block this right here. He's hoping that maybe this pawn gets pushed, but he is playing Magnus. So what he's doing right now is he's just trying to make sure that the black pawns cannot get pushed, and that this rook right here does not put his king in a dangerous situation. And he does a fantastic job of that. And these 3 pawns right here are the absolute three musketeers right now for Magnus. The reason for that is they are just going to start marching down, and you'll see what Magnus does to start conquering this endgame right here. And he just keeps shuffling back and forth right here. And this is such a powerful tool right here that he'll use. And the reason for that right now, what the best option, I want you guys to be thinking right now, which pawn should be taken right now. Is it the H pawn or is it this pawn right here? I'll give you guys 1 minute to think about it. Pause the video. Make sure that you guys think about it. The answer is the obvious E check right there. And the reason for that is not only does it give him a check, you could also be looking at taking this pawn right here and just creating a strong endgame for him. So right now you can see Magnus is up 3 pawns right here, and both players just have these 1 rooks per player. And so what the most ideal thing that Magnus can be doing at this point is just trading off the rooks. That is what he wants to be doing right now. That way he could just march one of these pawns down, make a queen, and deliver checkmate. But there is pretty much nothing he can do, because if Magnus decides he wants to defend this one, then this pawn just gets captured and vice versa. And so usually it's better to protect this one. The reason for that is that if he just moves this one right here, he could just capture both of them right there. And so that's exactly how it pans out. And white, he's just gonna, and Eon's just gonna keep shuffling between the E file and the H file. He just wants to get a draw by repetition. Obviously, that's not gonna happen. And he just keeps shuffling his pieces down the board, one by one, marching his pawns. And this is a really, really smart tactic right here by Magnus. The reason for it is once he captures this pawn right here, that is just a check right there. You capture it back. That forces him to take back on that file, and that's when you could just march your king, block it, and then just eventually just move out of the way, and then just have the red carpet right here for this E file pawn just to promote to a queen. And so in this situation, he is one square away from promoting on both sides, and he delivers check right there, and he just takes. And what Magnus does is he promotes to a queen, obviously, and then this rook gets captured. That does not mean it's a guaranteed win for Magnus, though, because it is still really, really hard to convert against a high-level player like Eon. And you'll just see some really, really tactical things that he does in order to make this happen. And so right here, he's just pinning the rook to the king, and so he slides out of the way. And you'll see that this rook is the last ditch effort for him to get a draw, for him to lose on time. And in this situation, delivering checks is the only thing that he can do. He just puts Magnus under so much pressure, but it is unfortunately not enough to take care of him. And so right here, this is where the game ends, because once he slides over his king right here, there is nothing he can do to escape checkmate in 1. So Eon does resign. I hope you guys start to think a little bit more of what you guys can be doing in order to think 3 moves ahead and implement this in your game. If you guys did benefit from watching this video, please make sure to drop down in the comment section down below what videos you would like to see next. Please make sure to like and subscribe, as it does promote the channel and help out learning in chess. So without further ado, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and thank you guys for watching.